I broke my back.
What do you mean by that?
My back is broken.
What do you mean, calm it down? It's a fight. Referees telling two fighters who want to fight to calm it down. He should calm down.
I saw he's like a clown in his show, man. He's not your guy.
Because Tyson Fury's back, and all you motherfuckers are under attack.
Look, Eddie Hearn can say all what he likes. Who gives a shit what Eddie Hearn says? It's garbage.
Are you off your tits? Have you been smoking something?
Can you let me retire and be happy? Please? Just please.
Bombs away from the Bronx Bomber! Wanda! Let's go, baby! Let's go!
I'm through. They put somebody else up and give me an interview.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
You never give me a fair shake. HBO needs to fire you. You don't know shit about boxing. You ain't shit. You not shit.
I wish I was 50 years younger and I'd kick your ass.
I got dropped, man! Are you kidding?
No, you won the fight.
OMG. I am so excited.
Any of you radio personalities think you want smoke? Call me Mr. Chimney. I want smoke.
Yes. What is up? What is up, MCR family? Another daily edition of the show. It's been a long day. I was off at Bellator for Sherdar.com for the weigh-ins, the two weigh-ins. God, I hate how MMA does that. And I definitely will talk about some of the interesting things about that weigh-in on our Patreon show, Boxing Banter, sometime this weekend, probably Sunday. But digressing from that, obviously you're here today to listen to a preview about Thurman, Josesito Lopez, probably one of the rising stars of the sport in a way. Jaime Munguia returning onto Zone. That's gonna be interesting. Sort of not comeback, but interesting sort of fight in and of itself, just because it is Jaime Munguia, and I think he is sort of being pushed as the next Canelo of Golden Boy. And obviously, the headline of the show: Daniel Jacobs making $15 million against Canelo Alvarez. God damn, that DAZN money. And plus, Anthony Joshua versus Dillian Whyte 2 is looking more and more likely due to Big Baby Miller coming out and saying that he has received no offers yet. Something that me and Rob were talking about, I believe, yesterday, the day before on a show, and I think you even asked that question. Like, has Big Baby received an offer? And I said, assumingly, he has. And apparently, I was wrong. You were right. Shout out to you. Once in a while, it happens. And plus, a ton of other news to get to today. Hit the like button, share the show, subscribe. If you're listening right now, head over to patreon.com/Mixed Combat Radio. If you're listening on a podcast right now, drop that 5-star review. And, of course, joined today by the illustrious OG, Robbie Hearns himself, second cousin, twice removed from Eddie. How you doing, Rob?
All good. Glad to have you back from that, from the dark side, covering the dark side of combat sport.
Thank you. It was rough.
It's all good.
I showed up late and everything, man. It was a rough day.
But yeah, Danny Jacobs, $15 million. Damn, earn with Hearn. DAZN money. Damn. I don't know what I was expecting, but I don't think it was this much. But yeah, what a deal. Yeah, we go straight into it if you want.
Yeah, we can. Obviously, been reported by Lance Pugmire of LA Times. Shout out to Lance Pugmire, one of the better guys in the game, even though he had that awful scorecard the other day for, what was that fight? Was that...
he gave it a draw. Yeah, what was it? Anyway, it was
it wasn't this fight, but it was like a Marcus Brown Badu Jack fight where it was clearly hey, dominant. And Lance comes out here fucking out of the blue nah, it was a draw. Sorry, Lance. But anyways, digressing. He is reporting from sources that Daniel Jacobs is going to make $15 million guaranteed in the Canelo fight, and also on top of that, a guaranteed at least $4 million in his next fight on DAZN if he were to lose to Canelo Alvarez. I am not really blown away by the $15 million, to be honest. That's not too shocking. I think for guaranteed money, where that's what DAZN is basically doing, there's no pay-per-view incentive. There's not a lot of back end money that can sort of funnel in to make a, let's say, Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury guaranteed base pay of $4 and $3 million jump to $8 million or $13 million respectively. DAZN, it seems like it's all up front for obvious reasons. So the $15 million for Canelo, not shocking. The $4 million on top of that for the each fight after he loses, that's actually pretty insane. I think respective to the market and respective to what Daniel Jacobs really brings in, he is getting overpaid drastically. So salute to him, man. Just, you have to shout out fighters. Rob, your thoughts on Daniel Jacobs really getting the bag from DAZN?
Yeah, I mean, it's great. Look, when obviously he took the plunge and signed with Eddie on Matchroom USA, Eddie pumped this, what a story. He should be a star. And I mean, it is a great story. It's just, I guess people don't really not care, but whether that's sort of on Danny's, like, just how he is, and maybe people don't find him that interesting, that the story carries some kind of weight. But it really is a great story, from the cancer to world champion to now fighting Canelo, $15 million. It's amazing, really, to come from obviously what he was going through. But yeah, I mean, DAZN, that money is pretty sweet. So DAZN.
I really don't have like a cash register soundbite.
We need a cha-ching. Yeah, we really do.
I might have one. Let me look. You keep talking.
Yeah. But yeah, later I'll share this show and at DAZN. If there's all this money flying about, why not? Let it filter down.
Well, hold on. I have a random soundbite I have found that says cash register. How bad do you think it is?
That you never use it.
I don't think I've ever played it.
Go for it. Let's do it. You got a drum roll first? Yeah, shit.
Oh my god. Do I have to?
Yeah.
So bad. That was so bad.
We'll find another one. I don't
know where I got that soundbite. Anyways,
you have to play it on the way out as well.
I mean, there's not like in-depth reporting on this one. Just like, hey, like Daniel Jacobs reportedly getting the bag from DAZN. I think this is obviously a huge trend, and I think shows what possibly guys like a Triple G or a Klitschko might be asking or demanding for from a DAZN deal, because both guys of that, respectively to Klitschko and Triple G, they've been in talks with DAZN reportedly now for weeks, months. So they must be getting offered at least $8 million per fight, $10 million per fight, $15 million per fight. Like, it's gotta be quite a bit in my mind for the base pay.
Yeah, I mean, going into this, they have the fight, and we find out Jacobs loses. Who's he fighting that he's getting a guaranteed $4 million? You still would think it's some kind of a name, but.
Yeah, you have Andrade still. I mean, if they get Triple G, Triple G's back in the mix. I mean, you could have Jacob Triple G too. I mean, there's a lot. I think they could do a lot with any of the guys mentioned because they have all the belts. They have a lion's share of the talent, and all the sort of true B-sides we talk about. The Artur Akavovs, of the world. Those guys can float around from network to network, so that's not really an issue. I think in terms of how are they going to make back that money, if that's sort of not really your question, but another aspect of your question, because if he is fighting the Artur Akavovs of the world, will he really be will DAZN make back their money in a Daniel Jacobs fight? I don't know. I think it's starting to look like DAZN is overpaying for a lot of talent. I don't think that's going to be a long-term issue because it looks like it's just a 3-fight deal. But it could be an issue if everyone starts getting these really high checks and sort of the well does run dry.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people give Jacobs props for his performance against Triple G. Some even say, he won the fight. But if he comes off the back of, say it's a loss to Canelo, but he looked good in the fight, it was competitive, he put on a real good showing again. he still holds some kind of, value, but whether it's $4 million worth of value, I'm not exactly sure. But
like we're talking commercial value, like that's a completely different aspect. Now, from a sporting aspect, an angle you brought up the other day. I mean, obviously, Daniel Jacobs brings up a lot of sporting value in the middleweight division. Even if he were to lose the belt, I think he is still a top 5-ish fighter in the division. So, regardless, I think he still is deserving of quite a bit. Commercially, can they reason with a $4 million base pay for Daniel Jacobs if those B-side fights in a comeback fight after a Canelo loss are quite poor? Because again, it is a business, and it's a new business, so it's even more of a prevalent issue with DAZN than it may be with the Showtime, Fox, ESPN, and others that are maybe overpaying for content or fighters at this point in time.
I kind of think DAZN need to do this at the moment to attract,
You're absolutely right. Yeah,
I think I've heard Eddie Hearn say it. I've seen others say it, but nothing is better in the business than fighters. Gym talk. That word getting round. Even like, I mean, it's been announced like the Philadelphia card. We got like Hank Lundy against Avery Sparrow, and if like Lundy puts out there, no, let me get the point out. I'm talking guys at that level. If they put, if that leaks out that they've made, decent money where they probably wouldn't have got that fighting somewhere else, that's, other fighters, how much, I think it's, and obviously fights like this, money gets mentioned a lot, the big, the Canelo money, the Daniel Jacobs is making the 15, but even lower down the card, if gyms are talking and fighters are talking and, word gets around, I think this is obviously a way of DAZN trying to get these, fights, good fights, the fighters and everything to come across. Because at some point, the pot will run dry, surely. Well, if you keep, it's got to make that money back before it's, properly viable as a business plan. But early doors, in the initial, I guess, run-ins, I think they say, don't they, like companies expect to not make profit for at least 2 years or something. It's that kind of.
No, you're absolutely right. Like, don't get me wrong, and I don't mean to interject here, but I think short term, you're absolutely right. Long term, it's an issue.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And another sort of compounding issue on top of that is, like, let's say a Daniel Jacobs, 3-fight, 4-fight, whatever fight deal it is. Presumably, from the readings of it, it looks like a 3-fight deal. When that runs out, and now DAZN's saying, "Hey, we're going to pay you $1 million, and that's your base pay." Are certain fighters going to then leave? Because again, you can't support, I think, this level of pay at this level of a fighter for long term, because like you said, the pot will run dry. And I think, I just don't know how you go to a fighter and say, "Hey, we're giving you a pay decrease." You know what I mean? Well, like that's going to happen at some point. It will.
I guess that depends on results, though, right? If Jacobs loses to Canelo, then takes another fight, maybe wins it, then gets like a Triple G rematch and loses that one. I guess it's sort of results driven, but.
Well, very quickly, Tony Yayo, I think just adding numbers together, which I think is relevant. DAZN spending $51 million on this fight is absurd. That's his opinion. If the rumor $36 million Canelo person is valid, that is valid. It might be even a little bit more than that, I think, for his first fight, actually, or technically his first fight on the contract. But Canelo Jacobs is that $51 million fight. Like, I don't know. Again, it's just long term. Can you keep up that level of pay when you're only having? I mean, can we even speculate on numbers at this point? Really, with DAZN, it's hard. It's very hard to.
I've seen so many reports. I don't know who's got sources, who's got facts. We hear this 16,000 people watched AJ Povetkin, and I've seen other areas saying like 1 million people watched it. It was free, and 1 million people watched it. But I got no clue. There's been nothing concrete until DAZN tell us anything. I guess it's kind of speculation or hearsay, or I don't know. And it could be one side that want it to fail and one side that want it to do well that are saying these things, So I don't know.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I forget the exact time frame ESPN used to begin. I think it was maybe a month, like the first month of ESPN Plus. I think they had 1 million subscribers.
It was something like that. Yeah, it wasn't too long a time before they hit the 1 million mark.
Yeah, and I mean, just the other week we had the first UFC event on ESPN Plus, and that gained over 500,000 subscribers for ESPN Plus within 2 days. Just by those metrics alone, I would have to assume DAZN is less than that. Like I would have to assume in DAZN's first month, for example, it must have done less than ESPN Plus just because of name recognition.
Yeah.
Right. So if ESPN Plus did 1 million, DAZN did a quarter of that, maybe. It's just, again, it's hard to speculate numbers at this point and how DAZN can operate as a business until, like you said, they start releasing these, base viewing numbers, base subscription numbers, and they can fluff them up like ESPN fluffs them up. Let's be honest, we know they do, because within that same month of them gaining a 1 million subscribers on ESPN Plus, 1 million, I was like maybe around 800,000 subscribers of ESPN dropped off, coinciding with obviously cord cutting. The same statistic matches the amount of people that cut cords that year or that month, I should say. So there's just a lot of PR fluff that DAZN could come out here and do and present us with some numbers we can use. It's just rather unfortunate.
The only thing I've seen was Joe, was it Markowski or something? He showed that the DAZN app was #1 on Android, #1 on Apple, building up to or just after the Canelo fight. So suggesting a shit ton of people downloaded the app, but it was a free fight. So, it may well have done, but it's what people then go, I like what I see, I'm signing up and keep paying, regular subscribers. But yeah, like I said, like I've always said, it's such early days for DAZN. I think we can't properly, gauge or criticize or overdo it until maybe a year, 18 months, really settle into the market of some sort.
Well, this year, this year is going to be a big year for DAZN. It's a make it or break it year for DAZN, in my opinion.
I don't know about properly make it or break it, but there needs to be an upward trend. The curve needs to, rise. I think they are gonna slowly deliver. It's just whether the patience of the fans or allow them to get there before the pressure's really put on. I know early days a lot of the matchroom cards have sort of flattered to deceive, or the standard of the fights haven't been great, but I sometimes look at it like we can't have fantastic, great fights on every card, every headliner, every undercard, every week of the year. It's tricky. So there's going to be these in between fights. There's going to be these tune-up fights, but we know the sales pitch was 16 fights, 12 massive cards, and 4 monster pay-per-view standard cards. So people are holding Eddie to like his word on that. Like these are.
But again, it's not just Eddie. Like it's not just Eddie. Like I know because that's just you.
No, but he was the front man telling everybody this is what DAZN is, wasn't he? He's basically been the sales guy.
John Skipper, right? Not Jack Skipper. What am I thinking?
John,
John Skipper. What am I thinking? Jack Skipper. Anyway, John Skipper. He's been doing a lot of media as well, to his credit. And plus, I mean, the media knows him from his ESPN days. So, yes, Eddie Hearn has been a vocal proponent of DAZN in the boxing media, but for DAZN in the sporting world, which again is always going to matter more than just our little market.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like John Skipper has been the bigger voice, obviously, for the sporting culture and the sporting world as a whole. And again, I'll keep saying it. Like this year is a make it break it year for a lot of reasons. I'm not saying that as in they have to beat out ESPN Plus in competition and whatever. this year. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, like what you said, they have to be trending upwards. And if they're not by the end of this year, if they haven't gained some sort of sporting content, whether it be NHL, MLS, NFL, MLB, that's not just the sort of highlight package show they have that they're paying a lot for, I think the zone will be in some issues in the U.S. market. They might be highly successful in other markets, but it may not just be successful in this one. And I think this year we will find out, to be 100% honest. But I guess from that, we really don't need to stay on it too much longer, Rob,
No, for sure.
unless you have anything else to say.
No, just, this is obviously one of the standard of fights that they were looking for. Canelo Jacobs, I think it's a great fight. This is, I think a lot of people speculated, what are these 10 fights for Canelo going to look like? Like what are we actually going to get? But, this is a great one, almost like straight off the bat. I know he's had the rocky fielding, but, a unification instantly is pretty good start for DAZN and, to try and get those subscriber numbers up.
Quickly, before we actually jump to the next topic, which is Big Baby, AJ, and White, and that whole trifecta, I want to briefly touch on what you said about how not every fight card's going to have a great fight. Not every fight's going to be great, which is 100% true. That's just the reality of combat sports, just sports overall. Not every football match, not every basketball game is going to be a great game featuring great teams. That does not happen. That's not reality. However, speaking more as a fan or to the fans, you obviously have every right to then say, well, I'm not going to watch bad boxing. I'm not going to watch bad basketball, bad football. I'm going to watch the good stuff, and which is obviously what we see in viewership numbers and everything like that. We see a reflection of that. For us media, we really don't have that excuse or that not excuse, but we can't do that because we have to watch everything, unfortunately, or at least I try to. I know Rob skips some stuff here and there, and even I do on occasion. But for the fans, you're absolutely right, Rob, that not every event's going to be good. Not every fight's going to be good. And the fans are going to definitely complain about that and definitely make note of that, in my opinion.
Oh, they do.
And that's the beauty of it, because speaking sort of stitching back to the zone, like this past card with Andrade, Akavov, Linares, Chris Ajiri, Amanda Serrano, that wasn't a good card, in any category of the word. I did not enjoy that at all. I didn't enjoy any of the fights, really. It had names I liked, but none of the fights I cared about, none of the fights I liked. And hopefully we get less of that and we get more of the good stuff. Speaking as media now, because I have to watch all this stuff. And 9 hours of a DAZN card that has a bunch of people I don't care about in fights that I don't care about isn't the greatest thing to, spend my time doing. But anyways, love it. Which reminds me, just sort of side topic, this Bellator card, right? Not boxing, right? I know, just brief tangent. Me and Anthony were sitting there, and I'm like, Anthony, I maybe know 3 fights on this card. And it's a 16-fight card. A 16, now 15-fight card. 16-fight card originally. I'm like, I don't know any of these guys. It felt so good to be almost like a fan again. Where I'm like, oh, I don't care. It's nice to not care.
Yeah, I don't know. You don't know them until you know them, if you know what I mean. And if you I know what you mean as far as selling it. You don't, people are like, I don't know who that is. I don't know who that is. But
there's I'll just put it this way. There is good combat sports and there's bad combat sports. It is perfectly okay and acceptable to point out which one is which when it comes to a fight, when it comes to an event. You know what I mean? I think I think it's good to have that mentality. It's okay to say oh, this fight isn't that good, and this event isn't that good, and this event is great, or this fight is great. I think there's some benefit to that.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. When you can look down a card and I don't know, pick out certain ones, and it maybe then makes you tune in from the start. You maybe got half an eye on the ones you weren't, and it might turn out to be a great fight, between 2 guys maybe you didn't know, but and then you're hanging around waiting for the couple of guys that you do know. But yeah, I know what you mean when it's like, I don't know any of these guys on this card. Maybe there's a movie I'll watch, or so. I get it,
and think
but
about, like,
for me,
for
I tend to watch and go, "Oh, this guy's pretty good. Who's this?" And I don't know. Especially
and
a lot
just
of American cards, some of the boxing, some of the names on there I'm not really familiar with, so I like to try and maybe I've heard of it, maybe, but not really seen them fight, or because it's maybe they've been on like prelim cards before, like the actual, So it's good in a way to put a name to something you've heard or see how they fight. But I know what you mean as far as like selling you, like getting hyped to watch an event or a card or something. You want names on there because that for me, like you said about the design card, the Andrade, the Akakov fight. It's names but they're not particularly fighting people we know. So it's, I don't know. That's where DAZN and like Eddie Hearn and Golden Boy or whatever, this joint venture thing, they need to start getting those fights that we're like, yeah, this is a good fight. Obviously we're going to get Andrade Saunders, looking forward to that. Canelo Jacobs, looking forward to that. Those kind of things. But when it's all A sides and you're looking at the B sides going, who's that? Oh, he's number 7 in the WBO. All right. We might have seen them once against, someone coming up or whatever, or they fought 15 years ago against the champion at the time and lost. But so, yeah, we just need that more competitive, the name recognition, and just to get that little bit more buzz about these fights, because a lot of them are getting really shit on at times. But
yeah, and again, it's just as a hardcore fan, hardcore, supporter of the sport, you give up 8-9 hours of every Saturday, it seems like now, and sometimes it seems like double or triple that because it's double or triple the events, per weekend now, right? Like, how many times do we have it where we have multiple events per weekend? We have it this weekend.
Yeah.
You have an event on ESPN or Fox or Showtime or DAZN all at the same time, or maybe one on Friday, one on Saturday, one on Sunday now. Hell, the occasional Thursday or Tuesday night fight. I actually really like those. It's just a lot, and I think sometimes it's a lot of not great quality. And anyways, digressing. That's just a total tangent and rabbit hole that I've been thinking about these last few days. Anyways, digressing. Big Baby Miller has come out and said, "Hey guys, it ain't happening." Let's read the quote, guys. Per The Sun, Big Baby talking to The Sun, no offers have been made for a fight against AJ as of yet. It's just speculation and talk. I think it would be Dillian Whyte. They were basically offering Dillian Whyte $3 million, and he made $2.5 million for the Derek Chisora fight. AJ only wants to fight chump change money. That's why Dillian turned it down, and I don't blame him either. You gotta play plain and simple. But I do think he'll fight Dillian Whyte next, and then he'll come to America. But I ain't playing fair, and I'm playing for cheap. Maybe September. I think that's the closest I can see us fighting right now. We're going to prepare for everything. We're open to all options. Oh, Big Baby's sad, man. Big Baby's sad, Rob. He's sad, man. He wanted that offer. And I can't believe he hasn't had an offer. Like, that's the craziest part. To be fair, though, not to be fair, the author, air quotes, of this article on Boxing Scene, which is just under the name Boxing Clever. They don't even use their real name, which I hate. He said, his own words above that quote says, oh, never mind. Misread it. Never mind. Totally disregard what I was about to do. I was about to go off on a tangent, like, come on. But no, totally misread the name. My bad. But still, Boxing Clever, use your real name. But Big Baby, Rob, how sad is he? I mean, and how honestly shocked are you that he has not received an offer from your cousin Eddie? I mean, you gotta call him up.
Yeah, I've been so torn over this because we've been through this. I think Dillian Whyte deserves a shot. Wilder should have taken it for a undisputed fight. Miller, I think, would be a great visit to, for Joshua to make his appearance in America.
I'm sorry.
So I've been torn, but as far as Miller, he's been one of the names bandied about. Eddie after the Andrade fight or during that, they brought him up into the ring, and Chris Mannix spoke to him, and don't be surprised if you see Miller in June. It's like, well, shouldn't you make him an offer then? It's like, don't throw him in the mix if he's not one of, Eddie's been out there telling everyone these offers, I've improved the offers, to all the guys involved. And now he's saying he's basically given up on Wilder because he's not getting back to us. So it's down to Fury, Whyte, and Miller. Well, those three that you're putting in the hat, only two of them have got an offer so far. So,
and I mean, honestly, only one of them is really realistic. Whyte was never, not Whyte, Wilder was never going to accept the offer because he was negotiating with Fury, and I think in pretty much good faith.
Therefore, Fury isn't really.
No, and only the Whyte, there's only really an offer to Whyte. That's what I've now learned from this.
Yeah. Dillian Whyte is the only one sort of kind of with an offer. The others have got them, but it's like, I don't know, I'm dealing with this right now, I'll check my mail later, it's like we're sorting this out right now. So
should there have been an offer to Big Baby Miller?
He was apparently last on the shopping list, for Joshua, right? So I don't know how people go about it, but he should have had one if he's one of the names. Because Eddie was saying, look, first come, first served. Whoever wants it, sign up, and you've got it. Whether that's trying to say, look, Wilder, if you're not quick, someone's going to jump in and take this spot. But I don't know. I've got a real feeling now that Dillian Whyte is going to get another slightly tweaked offer, a little bit more than this $4 million, and I think we've got Anthony Joshua versus Dillian Whyte 2 on the undercard of Dave Allen and Lucas Brown at Wembley Stadium.
When you said undercard, I was like, where is he going to go with this? Is it going to be a Klitschko conspiracy theory? And then I was kind of going to ride with it for a second. I'm like, oh no, it's just a Dave Allen joke, which I will accept. That is funny. No, I think it's all but official now in my mind. If Big Baby hasn't received a fucking single offer, and I think of a fight like a big Wembley fight, you're going to want a lot of time to promote it. Get content for that. Maybe have a little tiny UK press tour. You need time. And if Miller's not getting offers now or yet, he's not getting one at all. And it's going to be Whyte making a pretty big paycheck, especially after seeing these Daniel Jacob paychecks. And you're like, what the fuck? Daniel Jacobs going to get paid $15 million to fight Canelo? Where's my $15 million paycheck? Whyte's gonna get the bag, and they're gonna have the fight in Wembley. It's gonna do massive numbers, and everyone's saying that, how AJ's gonna go fight Whyte, ha ha ha. It's gonna be okay. He's still gonna do numbers, and Wilder's still gonna do numbers with Fury. Everyone's gonna be happy. Everyone's making millions, and it's all part of the plan by all parties involved. Let's be honest.
I think Eddie was said that Miller wouldn't be so unreasonable on the money. He feels like if Miller was given an offer, he'd probably just take it almost straight away. But obviously Miller's like, no, fuck that. He said it in there, like, I ain't playing cheap. He wants the bag as well. Everyone wants the bag. That's the thing. They know what AJ represents, and they want the biggest chunk of it they could possibly get. So. But yeah, I think we'll probably hear something next week now. I think Eddie met with Joshua today. I don't know if have you got that picture from Joshua's Snapchat? He's throwing out.
I don't have that up, but I don't. I apologize.
All right, it's
I apologize because
Did you see it though? Right? Did you see it?
I kind of saw it.
It's like
it's like a song
from his iTunes. It's his song, and he's saying for his next walkout. Music, and the album covers like a guy with puppet strings and then some other people underneath But AJ's like edit it and put like the Puppet Master. He's put me, and then all the people attached to the strings. It's like Wilder, Miller, Whyte, Fury. So he's basically I'm the Puppet Master, but AJ with his semi sort of subliminals again. He sort of doesn't say much, but he sort of says it in one little sort of tweet or post or whatever. But yeah, Joshua Whyte too. Wait for that news next week.
Yeah, whatever. Who cares? Who cares? Anyways, to the fights this weekend on Fox, PBC on Fox, the second venture in the Fox deal. Keith Thurman on his comeback. I know Gary is absolutely trolling in the chat. It's funny. I will admit that. But I gotta admit, I'm really happy Keith Thurman is back. He's a guy that I spent quite a lot of time with in camp, doing a lot of interviews with. Spending, again, some quality time with him in training camp. So I know him quite well, so to speak. And I've always thought quite highly of him, both in the ring and out the ring, and how he carries himself. And always thought he is a very elite pound-for-pound quality fighter, and I always want to see that. I always want to see that type of person achieve everything they can, and Keith Thurman sort of hasn't as of late. Hopefully, this is now the bounce back trend for him to now be back on the top. He is now calling out Shawn Porter as well, and saying that if he was to fight for a belt in 2019, it would be for the WBC belt. Sending shots there, Johnny.
Wasn't he sort of considered like some kind of mandatory?
Yes. I think he is the mandatory, I think.
Was it when Danny Garcia had the belt? Wasn't he? I seem to think Porter was named one mandatory and Thurman was.
No.
Have I got that wrong?
When Thurman had the belt right before he was stripped, Porter was named a mandatory, and then I think Ugas was named the mandatory. Or maybe it was like Porter versus Danny Garcia before that fight happened.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
And the winner of that fight was the mandatory. And then I think Ugas was a secondary mandatory or something like that, right? That's why Ugas is now still the mandatory for Shawn Porter. I think that's how it played out.
Yeah, I just seem to think of like some report that because Thurman vacated, like it was obviously he was either going to be stripped or just sort of save face. He kind of vacated it, but the WB said that he'd kind of get his shot. Once he came back, I seem to remember something like that.
Yeah, that definitely happened. No, that definitely happened.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyways, sorry. Anyways, let me just keep. I'm back to my point, even though you just cut me off. It's okay.
All right, you've done it.
Let me just set up the topic. Relax there. Relax there, Mr. Hearns, OG. Relax. Keith Thurman again off of now a 2-year layoff, right? I want to say 2017 was his last fight. I think that's right. You want to? I'm asking you.
No, were you asking me a question?
Yes, I am. That was clearly a question. That was not me stating a fact.
Yeah, it's pretty much
because he fought in March 2017 against Danny Garcia, right?
Yeah.
Yes, because I was at that fight. But anyways, digressing. I'm happy to see him back, even though he's fighting Josesito Lopez, who is basically a made opponent. I think for Keith Thurman and with his style. It's good to have him back. We have King Tug on the undercard as well. Adam Manaki versus Gerald Washington. A couple of the Gary Russell brothers. Lil B-Hop, Chris Colbert. I love Lil B-Hop, man. One of the better prospects in the game. And Marcellus Wilder also on the undercard. Obviously, brother of Deontay Wilder. A lot to sort of talk. Rob, Thurman, Lopez. Thoughts on obviously Thurman's comeback and this fight in general?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. We've got it on ITV, obviously. I'm looking forward to it. I've always liked Thurman. I like the way he talks. He seems like a good guy to me. not one to lie about, how bad an injury was or anything like that, Gary. Yeah, I think it, like you say, some people are giving Lopez a shot. I think it's just based on purely Thurman being out for nearly 2 years, like we said. And he's almost like a bit of a live dog. I'll be interested in the odds, actually. I'll have a look in a second. But yeah, I expect Thurman to, win this one pretty handedly. I don't know. We'll have to see. It's a long time out of the ring, a bit of ring rust and what have you. But yeah, just glad to have him back because he's obviously a major player in the division. He's still got the WBA, so people will be wanting him. I know him and Errol Spence had a little back and forth, I think, on Instagram, or Spence was, Twitter, but Errol Spence was kind of saying, keep that same energy when I'm around, because Thurman, once the camera's in his face, he's a slick talker, talks a lot, a lot of almost greasy stuff. Sort of tries to keep it respectful, but we know what he's saying. And then, so like I say, Errol Spence kind of said, keep that same energy when I'm around. You're a little bit different when I'm in the building. So that one's obviously brewing. I think at some point those guys are going to clash. So yeah, just glad to have him back. Yeah, Matt, you're back. I was just touching on. Did you see that Errol Spence, sort of hitting back at Thurman? I think it's all come off interviews, but Errol Spence on Twitter was all like, keep that same energy when.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that.
So that's something for the future. I think we're gonna.
What do you mean, like Thurman? That's what I don't get about this is that Thurman has said, excuse me, basically the same thing in front of him at that press conference. So. What do you mean, Spence, that he hasn't kept the same energy? He said that to you in your face in front of all of the Fox audience. And you were right there, and you said shit back. Like, do you forget that? Like, that's what my only, gripe about Spence's comeback is, keep the same energy. Like, he has. I think everyone's kept the same energy. If anyone hasn't kept the same energy, it's you trying to be huggy with Terrence Crawford in the back of a fight. I'm just saying.
Oh,
just saying. That's mainly to piss off all of our dedicated Dallas listeners like Gary and Eric Cruz.
But yeah, obviously, the heavyweight clash on the card. That's all right. All right fight. I quite like that fight.
It. I think, it's
like a B level.
Well, we have a lot of heavyweight prospects now getting, I think, good step-up fights. I mean, you may disagree with it, but Joe Joyce versus Bermane Stiverne, Adwinaki versus Jared Washington. We have another one on that list as well.
FA against Amir Mansour.
Yes, I like that fight. F.A. Agabi versus Amir Mansour. Oh, God, I love that fight. But that trend of heavyweight prospects getting good step-up fights that aren't too far of a step up, the good matchmaking and the respectable fights that I want to see, I'm happy for. The only one that's sort of not out of that picture, only because doesn't have a fight scheduled, is Daniel Dubois. I'm very curious what his next step is. He just fought Kevin Johnson.
Dubois is facing good old Rajvan Kajanu, I think.
Oh, that's right. Okay, that's not bad. That's not a bad one. I'm not opposed to that. Didn't he fight him already?
No, he was supposed to. Oh no, let me think. He was supposed to, but then he was sick. I think it was over, coming into Christmas, and then Nathan Gorman just beat him.
That's right. That's right.
They kind of stepped in and met each other.
No, you're right. That's the fight I was remembering. So Daniel Dubois is still going to fight Kajoni?
Kajoni.
Whatever his name is, that I don't care. He's switching back to what we're talking about, not who I care about. Tony Yayo saying, what happened to Uguni or Ugono? Izu Ugunu, who trained with Joseph Parker and was it Kevin Barry for a bit, and he fought Dominic Brazil in that really fun fight. Remember that? You don't remember that fight? He was a short, stocky black guy from Africa.
Yeah, I remember that fight, but I don't know what's going on with
but
it.
I just want to make sure you act like you didn't know who I was talking about. I have no idea what's been up with him. I think he had a fight like in Poland last year, in the fall sometime, and it was obviously off TV. I haven't really heard from him, or anyone's heard from him since, so I don't know about that. But anyways, heavyweight's looking good right now. A lot of heavyweight prospects getting good fights. I'm just happy about that. Anyways, Adam Wanaki versus Jared Washington. Back to that fight. I think Adam Wanaki should win this one for obvious reasons. I think he is probably the better accurate boxer. I think his volume and combination work is going to, I think, overwhelm Jared Washington in a lot of ways, who's really a slow starter and just overall just sort of a slow fighter. But I think Adam Wanaki is one of those guys who's always going to be hit in fights. Like, every one of his fights as of late, he gets hit up. And I feel like that's just sort of his stick. Like, that's how he fights. So Jared Washington might have some luck there with the jab, might have some luck there with the right hand just due to that. But I think Adam Wanaki should win. Probably a decision, maybe a late fight TKO stoppage. I'm not. I think it's a good matchup. I'm not too excited for the fight because it's
all right.
It's all right. It's all right.
Yeah. I mean, look, coming off a 12-round war with Charles Martin, it doesn't inspire me into thinking he's really the goods yet. But obviously, you know, it's early on in his career and he's already sort of fairly high up in the rankings. And yeah, we'll see. I think it's a fun fight, but, you know, not like, oh, I can't wait for that one. But, you know, it's good enough. It's a nice one on the undercard. Sorry, go on.
No, you go. I'm sorry.
No, I was I didn't know how much further down that card you were going, but I was going to say about Deontay's brother, Marcellus Wilder. He's also scheduled to be on the DeGale Eubank undercard as well in the UK, and Wilder's travelling over. I just wonder if that's going to coincide with some kind of press conference or
announcement. There's something.
You know, obviously on Sky when Eddie Hearn wins the purse bid. I'm joking. You know, but yeah, I think possibly going to be on commentary as well, Wilder for the fights over in the UK, and obviously supporting his brother. But wouldn't it make sense to because that is what, a couple of weeks after the proposed purse bid date, so you know, it would tie in nicely with why you're here, BT Sports Studios, you know.
No, I mean, there's obviously a lot of reasons that you've stated why Wilder's moving to, not moving, but why he's going to the UK to see his brother fight, why his brother's even fighting over there. It's all for very obvious reasons. I'm not going to really break down anything else on the card, but I will just say again, shout out to King Tug on the card. I'm not going to try to pronounce his first name, just Tug, King Tug, and Naam Bayar, 10-0, great Olympic pedigree. Fighting a guy that's like 23-2. I like that sort of, you know, again, caliber of opponents he's fighting. It's not fighting guys that are like 10-15. And he's looked absolutely fantastic from his sort of that year, 2016. He's one of the better guys from that year, in my opinion. He's already fought, I think, some recent competition that's been good. Like, I think he's fought like Oscar Escandon. Yeah, that was his last fight, and KO'd him in 3 rounds. That was absolutely impressive. It's definitely a guy to look at 10-0. Sort of when we talk about prospects that could be a champion relatively soon, like a Teofimo Lopez. King Tug deserves to be in that conversation that I unfortunately keep forgetting shots at me. Fake ass hipster. I'll admit it. And again, I think all the Gary Russell brothers are fighting, and Chris Gobert, Lil B Hop. Pay attention to those fights. Rob, any thoughts on those?
Yeah, I like Chris Colbert. Yeah, I'm quite a fan of his. You know, what is he? 9-0.
Did you? Sorry, not to interrupt you. But did you watch that boxing documentary maybe a while back that had Lil B Hop on it?
I think I have caught that. Was that on Netflix?
Yes,
was that a Netflix production thing? Yeah, it's good.
Was that where you first heard of him?
Was that maybe looking back? I think, yeah, possibly. But I've seen him fight probably three
times,
times
yeah.
or something. Yeah, so yeah, no, I like him. I like what I see. But yeah,
I think when I think of Lil B.O., I think of what most people probably think about Devin Haney. You know what I mean? Like a guy that is extremely talented with boxing ability. Maybe not the most power, but his boxing ability is going to take him really far. I think Lil B.O.P. is what people really think about Devin Haney. Like that's Lil B.O.P.'s the truth. You know, when we talk about contender, like pretender status, not to say that Devin Haney is a pretender at this point, but Lil B.O.P. to me is just a better, more polished boxer than a lot of prospects at this point. I mean, the fact that we just have Lil B.O.P. and King Tug on this card, you have two of probably the top 5 prospects in the game on the same card. That is great to see.
I hope we see just more of him this year because just looking at his box rate, it was like 2 fights in 2018, 2 fights in 2017, 1 in 2016. 2015, he had like 4 fights. You know, he's 9-0. He should
10-0.
It's all right. Yeah, 10-0. He should just be fighting a little bit more regularly, I think.
But here's the thing: now that he's at this level of like Oscar Escandon, like he's relatively speaking, he's close to being a contender. If not, he is a contender. So then I think he's close to like a 2 or 3 fight a year sort of schedule. I think. Like I think Teofimo is going to be close to that sort of schedule soon. Same like Josh Kelly. I think Josh Kelly's close to that schedule, to be honest. Just because at the top that's just the nature of it in some way.
No, I don't know. I think he should fight maybe 3 times. He's not, you're talking about, Joshua's now a 2 fights a year fighter.
I said 2 to 3 fights a year. I said that.
Yeah, I think like 3 minimum at this stage. I don't know how far away he is from a shot. Who knows? But
he's not that far. Like this is for a vacant IBO belt. Ooh, the IBO.
Yeah, well, shut.
Yeah, this is technically for a championship.
Let me back up.
In your eyes, from the sporting perspective, this is for the world championship, Rob. Okay.
All right. Good luck to him. See how much leverage that gets him in a unification.
It's not gonna be the worst leverage.
Better than not with it, I suppose.
I have no idea, honestly. Moving on. Jaime Munguia also fighting this weekend on DAZN, fighting Takashi Inoue, who is not related to Takuma Inoue or Inoue. I just said that twice. Oh my god, it's been a long day, man.
Diamond Diamante.
Yo, the amount of names I've been trying to learn on this Bellator card, you have no idea, man. I'm gonna send you a bout list, and you're gonna just struggle. But he's not one of the Inoue brothers. He's just not. For those that may be confused by that.
If he is, it's their little brother. There's like a foot difference how are they both made weight? And the weigh-in, he came in heavier than Munguia. He looks.
How tall is Munguia? Do you know?
Huh?
How tall is Munguia?
Not sure. I can try and find it, but I'm not sure.
He seems like obviously he seems like a very big guy. I don't know if he's like a 6'1" sort of guy or if he's 5'11", 5'10".
They've got him at 6 feet.
That's not so. If Inoue is like what you say, it's like a foot smaller, right?
Yeah, maybe a little bit.
So he's like 5'8", 5'9".
I will find out if they've got his height. We'll see. But
we'll see. Anyways, Jaime Munguia probably should get the KO here at some point.
There's no way he's 5'8". It says 5'8", but the photograph, unless Jaime Munguia was wearing Oscar's high heels, I don't know. I mean, stood on a crate. I mean,
same thing. I again, Munguia should get a KO here relatively soon. Inoue is not the most talented boxer, and he's kind of a come forward brawler, to be honest, and that's not gonna play well with Jaime Munguia, in my opinion. But it should play out for a very exciting fight for as long as it lasts. Jesus Rojas coming back from the Jojo Diaz loss, fighting Can Zhu. I have no idea who Can Zhu is. So Rojas should win this one because he's like a top 10, top 15 featherweight. And there's no one on this undercard that I have. No, sorry, Virgil Ortiz. Whoa, sorry, I didn't see that there. Gary, don't come at me. Virgil Ortiz is also on the undercard. Great prospect, one of the better prospects in the world. Fighting Jesus Valdez Baran. Sure. But that's about it in terms of the card, in my opinion. Not much to really look at. Rob, your thoughts on Inoue, Rojas, and Ortiz?
Munguia, I think, will win this by devastating destruction. I can't believe that their heights are what they say on BoxRec. That face off looked ridiculous. I don't think you can call it a face off because their faces. Well, maybe it is because their faces were well off. They they were in different levels, but Munguia. I think this is good that Zamfa and Golden Boy or whatever are working with DAZN with Munguia. As far as DAZN are concerned, because I think he really is possibly one for the next. He's already a world champion at 154, but going forward, middleweights and things like that, one for the future. Because what is he, like 22, something like that?
He's super young.
Yeah, so DAZN have got themselves a good one there going forward. I'm sure at some point there might be a meeting with Canelo in that 10 fight deal. Maybe maybe at that point in time it could be a passing of the torch moment. Who knows?
Let's say hypothetically it's the last fight on that deal, right? That's 5 years from now. Right? In theory, Canelo's a 2-fight a year kind of guy, right? He's going to fight Cinco de Mayo in September from Mexican Independence Day. So 2 fights a year, 10-fight deal. That's going to be a 5-year deal, basically, right? So Canelo would be 34 years old at that time.
Yep.
Interesting. I don't know. Hey. Crazier things have happened.
And what? Munguia will be like 27. Prime, possibly in his prime.
Yeah, 26, 27.
So, maybe. Well,
I'm not opposed to it.
In 5 years' time, when we're actually on DAZN, I can say I told you.
DAZN, really? That's your goal?
By then, Matt, again, I'll be right, and DAZN will be an absolute fire. We were here at the birth. Purely off me repping and waving that flag and them ignoring you shitting on it. I've got us the bag, and
hey, you know what? You might be right. I didn't say you will be right. I said you might be. Speaking of getting the bag, because Rob, I'm pretty sure you don't care about the Rojas fight, and why you think Virgil Ortiz might be a good prospect, you don't care about the matchup. Let's be honest.
I'll watch it. I don't. This is the thing. I've seen a lot of people saying, "Oh, this is a DAZN card. Are we getting it on Sky?" And no, I don't think we are getting this one. So I don't know where we're going to be seeing.
You know what that means? Pittsburgh Brew. What up?
Swig, send the link.
Link, send that. But anyway, speaking of the bag, Lewis Nery signing with PBC. And going to be on the undercard of Spence Garcia for a 5-fight deal. I don't know about this, especially with obviously that same division, the bantamweight division. It's right now on DAZN right now for the tournament. You do have a champion though. Rashid Warren just lost to Obali. The only French champion in the world. Shout out to Coach Mitty. What up? I don't have a French soundbite, but insert French soundbite. What up?
Ooh la la.
Croissants and shit. Whatever.
Bleu.
So I'm not opposed to it because there is a title fight for Lewis Nery, but it just feels like okay, fight deal. Maybe some of those World Boxing Super Series guys post World Boxing Super Series leave the zone. That's probably more than likely. But it just seems like he's out of the picture right now, regardless. But that Obali Lewis Nery fight, that would be an insane fight that I'm excited to see if and when it does happen. Rob, your thoughts on this last topic? Then we're going to callers 323-870-4051. If you're international, Skype add Mixed Combat Radio or email me mixedcombatradio@gmail.com. Rob?
Sorry, my head went blank for a second there.
Lewis Nery.
Yeah. No, I was thinking of what was the whole PED weight cut? Came in overweight.
So here's what happened with Lewis Nery. He popped, from my recollection, like this is not, I don't have the paperwork from me, this is my recollection of the chronological events that happened with Lewis Nery. He popped for the dreaded clenbuterol. Hashtag Mexican beef. But hey, this is before Canelo, so to be fair, he was smarter. He received like a 6-month suspension, I believe, or maybe I think there's a lot of time where they just didn't do anything, and then they said, "Hey, look, we're not going to give you a suspension," but it was in effect a suspension because they just waited a bunch of time. And then when he came back to fight Yamanaka in a rematch, he missed weight, and he beat Yamanaka and was not rewarded the belt. And then he either popped again, or he had some other controversy. I forget.
Didn't he miss weight real bad? Or?
No, but that's what I'm talking about. He missed weight against Yamanaka. Didn't get the belt that he beat Yamanaka for in the first fight. Yeah. Boxing Blunt saying too much CBD, Rob. Yeah, he's right. From my recollection, that's what happened with Lewis Nery. Regardless of that, he is a fantastic fighter. That's fun to watch. So worse things have happened, and we have accepted far worse people into the sport. So I'm okay with this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, is it like you say, everything's over on the zone as far as the bantamweights kind of thing? So I don't know. We'll see. Maybe he's going to move up, or
well, at this point, that's the thing, because obviously World Boxing Super Series is tied to the zone, but those fighters aren't. Like Inoue, Ryan Burnett, Nonito Donaire, Zolani Teti, like all those guys are not really tied to the zone in any contractual way, from my understanding or from my knowledge. So post World Boxing Super Series, they could go to a lot of places. They could stay on the zone, but I don't know. It seems like he's making his move before the landscape is sort of clear, in my mind.
Very quickly, apparently Adrian Broner has been hit with an arrest warrant in Florida over a court date. He's failed to show up in court.
No way. Wait, Rob, are you serious?
No, I swear down.
What?
I know. Can you believe it?
Sometimes I feel discouraged.
Feel discouraged, man.
Yeah. Very quick. Did you want to?
Hey, he's just trying to do it for the hood, man. Okay. He's just trying.
If you've watched,
he won that fight. Okay, you've just turned the sound off. Okay, he won 10 rounds against Manny Pacquiao, but the man doesn't want to give it to him.
I know.
Sorry.
Disgusting. But very quick, do you want to quickly touch on Klitschko's little tweet? Just very quick, little touch on it, or?
I mean, you can touch on it.
I don't know if, whether this is that kind of subliminal things. Virtually everyone replied to it like, "Oh, okay, so you're coming back then."
He is, but he is.
Yeah, Klitschko on his Twitter, I think it was yesterday. You can't fight every fight. Instead, you have to strategically pick every battle. #coordination. I thought you were leaning for a soundbite then, but
I was, but like I don't know.
You wanted to play the cash register again, didn't you?
I almost did. I almost did on accident, but I almost did. Sure. I mean, Klitschko's coming back, but that tweet doesn't mean anything to me. That's why, I just don't care. It could be a subliminal. It more than likely is. I don't know what it's subliminal to, other than just a very general sense of fighting and decision making. So it's like, okay, cool.
I guess he means like strategically pick your battles is like
pick which bum you're gonna fight. Yeah, that's what
I'm gonna have this easy touch.
That's
this
what I got
one
from that.
maybe this one I maybe get a little more credit for, and then lose to either a rematch against Fury or Joshua or something like that, you know. But yeah, no, I thought it just adds possibly a little bit more to the reports of him talking to DAZN and coming back. But you know, we can go to the callers.
Oh,
wait for Gary's hyped call about his man coming back.
Gary's on the line. He is not first though.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. I can get ready for it.
Who do we have first?
Who do we have first?
Let's see if you can guess.
McGregor boxing. Oh, undisputed. What's
no, he would be on the.
Oh, that's true. That's true. He would be on the link.
Yeah,
who do we have first? Santiago.
No. Oh, wow, you're so bad at this.
Why would I know? I don't have any information on the screen. Fugati.
No.
I don't know then. Who else calls in?
God, Rob, you're such trash, man.
Did you heard?
No, but that would be cool. Free Fights TV. How you doing?
Oh, I thought it was a bit late.
Free Fights TV, what's up?
Hello?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes.
Hello.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Anyway, so who y'all what do you think about Keith Thurman's I'm not streaming this by the way, but what do you think about Keith Thurman's comeback and who do you think will win?
Well, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to mute you for Fest TV, but you do have like a lot of background noise. Thurman should win very clearly. It might be exciting for parts within the first maybe few rounds, but Thurman is far and away a better boxer. His ability to dictate the angle and real estate of the fight is truly sublime. On top of that, he's an accurate, heavy hitter with a very high boxing IQ who develops great game plans. So Keith Thurman should win this one rather easily, hopefully in an exciting fashion. The two may not be the same, though. Rob, I guess, do you want to answer him?
Yeah. No, I think the same. I think Thurman is just another level to Josesito Lopez, and providing he's in the gym shaking off a lot of that rust, I can't see anything other than an impressive Thurman victory.
Absolutely agree. We can move on to Thurman's #1 fan. Actually, the leader of the fan club.
Is that it? Free Fights? Is he?
I'm not going back with all that background noise and people yelling in the background.
Oh,
I'm sorry. Sorry, Free Fights. No offense to you. Just I am an audio snob. That's not new information. I made you leave the show and come back, Rob. If you're not sounding a 100, come on.
Okay.
Oh my God, boxing blunts.
I like the picture.
Boxing blunts. How are you doing? Where are you calling from?
All good. I forgot I had this link. I forgot you sent me it.
Wait, you do have it. You're here. What's up? What do you want to talk about?
Anything.
Well,
There's been a lot happening. There's been a lot happening.
You called in Boxing Blunt, so what you can discuss anything with us. You want to debate, discuss, whatever it may be.
White, like Dillian Whyte, AJ, he's got to take that into. He's got to.
I think
that's a lot of money. Like I'm shocked.
Sorry, I was going to say I think he's going to get an even maybe a little more improved offer as well. Personally,
I'm shocked he made I heard they done like 430,000 in that pay-per-view, plus the full O2, which that's a 10 million. That's a £10 million fight. If he got less than £3 million out of that, that's less than 30% in it. So he's got to take that AJ money. Got to.
I think so. Because if he waits for his mandatory to possibly be called, if it's not Usyk gets called for it, it's like an 80-20 split. So I think this is, I don't know, we'll have to see. But I really feel we're going to get the Dillian Whyte fight now. And I think we'll hear from it probably next week.
I don't think he doesn't lose a lot of face. If he gets beat off AJ, he'll not drastically drop down the rankings. Like 2 bum fights, he's back up there. It's easy. It's quite easy for him. But what I wanted to say is, what's the chances do you think ITV could throw money at boxing just now, realistically in Britain? So, like, do you think they could do a deal where maybe they say, if Dillian Whyte gets beat off AJ, they say, we have you for 2 fights, and you take the first 100,000 pay-per-view, go straight to you, because ITV don't need to make money out of the pay-per-views. It's not like Sky. They will take a percentage, but they don't need it. They would rather have pay-per-views on with people buying them and making boxers money than no putting them on just now. It's free cards for them. Like, if they don't need to invest in it and they get it for free, it works for them. So they've got to make moves. So, but
yeah, I get you. I mean,
well, very quickly, I don't understand the question. Could Rob, maybe you clarify what he's asking?
If Dillian Whyte was to face AJ and takes another loss against AJ, like, he's not going to lose too much, like ranking wise.
Agree with that part.
In the top five, but would it be wise of like ITV to throw a lot of money towards Dillian Whyte, and he can box on ITV box office? And
yes.
He's saying
yes. Sorry. Yes. I just answer that question. Absolutely. Dillian Whyte's one of the bigger pay-per-view draws in UK history that people really aren't understanding and sort of realizing. And just because there haven't been a lot of pay-per-view draws in UK history. So if ITV has a opportunity to get Whyte at the table and offer him a lot of money, do it. I would absolutely do it if I was ITV.
Because they pay a lot of money for to show a single soccer game. They can pay a couple of million just to show one game. So, like, I'm not saying it costs them to do that. So if they can get something on their platform that they're producing and they're making, it's a lot of. And if they can afford to say to Dillian Whyte, you keep the first 100,000 that comes out the pay-per-view, and that's 2 million to you. And if he's hitting numbers of 400,000 on Sky, he maybe only hit 200 on ITV. There will be a lot of people who wouldn't watch him on ITV who'll watch him on Sky, just out of principle. So I just wonder what's going to happen, because it's changing. Like,
it's interesting. I think it's obviously really difficult for any fight, I guess, to be put on Saturday night on ITV, the main ITV channel, just because of shit like X Factor and all that crap. But yeah, I mean, I'm waiting on the just out of interest, the figures when they come out on that site. Is it Barb? What Broner and Pacquiao done? I know that's probably going to be low because of just the time of night it was on, but I think ITV, the history behind them and boxing, all the Eubanks and all that kind of stuff with ITV and boxing, they've had a rich history in the past, and they're coming back into it. And obviously, Al Heyman making a deal. Yeah, I wonder just what they're going to do, sort of boxing wise, domestically. It'd be interesting, but I think, like you said, Dillian's going to take this money from the Joshua fight. And yeah, he lost before against AJ, and Matchroom have built him back up to this position. Obviously, he's had to do the fighting and the winning, but it's been through Matchroom. So I don't know if we see Dillian Whyte necessarily jump ship if he loses to AJ. I'm not sure, but
quickly, you said something about boxing blunts. How about how it's just very interesting right now with ITV and Sky and even BT now all involved. It wasn't long ago, both in the U.S. and in the UK market, it was a 2-horse race. It was Box Nation, Sky in the UK for a very long time, it seemed. And in the U.S., it was HBO and Showtime for a very long time, it seemed. Now the paradigm has shifted drastically in both markets. We now have DAZN, ESPN, Fox, Showtime in the U.S., BT, ITV, Sky in the UK. The explosion of content and networks that are now supporting fighting is it's massive, and I think overall it's going to lead to better things, like a Dillian Whyte getting a huge paycheck potentially from an ITV or a Sky Sports. Like, a guy like him is now heavily heavily sought after in sort of a free agent market, a perfect free agent market right now for fighters. Boxing blunts.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's everybody, as long as everybody's getting paid, and they're getting paid better than they were. So, but my biggest problem is how much are these TV networks and promoters keeping? It's all right if the boxers are getting paid, but if a promoter's putting on 20 events a year and taking 20% out of each event, and the boxers are only getting, like, if Dillian Whyte's only getting 30% of what the last fight generated in, he's only fighting twice a year, and the promoter's making 10 times what he's making. It's like, put more into the boxing. And but as long as the fans, if you're happy to buy it, then they're happy to sell it. If there's a market, somebody's selling it. And it's different everywhere. Like, we can't compare the UK to America. It's completely different. Like, if we want to watch Loma, we have to buy Box Nation to watch Loma. If we want to watch, certain fighters are signed to different TV companies. Or here, we're not guaranteed that all PBC fighters will fight on ITV, or top ranked fighters will fight on BT. We don't get guarantees like that. So the zone's it's a good thing for America, but I wouldn't be buying that for $10. I think you're crazy. That's crazy.
Anything else, Boxing Blunts?
That's it. Have a good one.
Thank you. Definitely appreciate it. Rob, you sent me a text and saying something about playing the audio. What did you play me?
It's now. So we've had Miller saying it's Dillian Whyte fighting AJ.
Oh my God.
We've now got some audio.
Okay. Let me pull it up. Talk, Rob. Talk for a second.
No, this is just Dillian Whyte's opinion on who AJ's fighting next and when and where, basically.
God damn it. Sometimes, man. Sometimes.
So who do we believe?
And neither guy are like the best fucking source, right?
No, I guess.
I hate how like Twitter like just automatically starts playing the videos. Like, hold on, wait a second, I'm not ready.
Do you think Eddie Hearn wants Anthony Joshua to fight?
Miller is fighting Miller in Madison Square Garden, probably June.
Okay. I don't care right now. I believe. Oh my God, am I about to say this? I believe Miller more.
Holy crap!
Because him saying he's never received an offer is a very big statement to say.
Yeah, and I think
he works with Eddie all the time. Like he would get a phone call from Eddie about that. I guarantee you, if he was lying. Right?
Yeah, I mean, they would. I think Eddie would have added this to the list of offers. You know, I know he's kind of an Eddie fighter anyway, so maybe, like he said about the Whyte fight, I don't want to go into too much detail because I represent that fighter, but he would have said, "We've sent Wilder 60-40 offer. If he wants 60-40, he's got it. Fury, we've spoke on the phone. He doesn't want a split percentage. He wants just a flat. How much money am I getting?" Dillian Whyte's had an offer, and he would have said, and Jarrell Big Baby Miller has got an offer. I don't know why he would leave that one out if he, if he hadn't. So,
can you hear the motorcycle in the background?
No.
Oh my God, it is so loud. I just want to like throw something at the person out my window. It's like, fuck, you're in a residential area, motherfucker. Calm down. But anyways, let's go out to Gary in Dallas again. Keith Thurman's #1 fan.
One time.
Hold on, let me get the soundbite for Gary here. Gary, it's time, man. It's tomorrow. It's here. Gary in Dallas.
I'm here.
Gary, how you doing?
He made weight and everything.
I can't believe it's finally here. The eve of a Keith Thurman fight. We haven't been here in years.
Hey, pussy, are you still there?
He is.
Yeah. So I had this picture on my computer of Keith Thurman. He's it's a chicken body with Keith Thurman's head on it, right? And it's wearing boxing gloves. And my 4-year-old daughter thought it was the funniest thing in the world. And she goes, "Who is that?" It's Keith Thurman. He's running around the house screaming, "Keith Thurman is a chicken." Then 2 nights ago, either last night or 2 nights ago, the Nets were playing the Magic.
Gary, you're cutting out there. Nope.
Don't let the dark cloud of Thurman's return ruin
Yo,
your.
Thurman got you, man.
Can you hear me?
No, Gary, hang up and call back in.
Okay.
Yeah, just do that. I guarantee you it's going to be better.
Poor Gary. He's got so much to say.
He does. And he has so many jokes lined up that he's prepared. He has right on his notepad he's reading off of.
He's probably, the signal's all messed up because he's playing the video of his daughter running around saying, "Thurman's a chicken." Just too much. But, I'm glad he's back. I don't want to hear any shit about it. I think, isn't it a good thing? I think it's a great thing for him to come back.
Is that a little better?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. So I'll I'm watching the Nets game, right? The Nets are playing the Magic in Brooklyn. And then Keith Thurman's sitting courtside, right? They zoom on Keith Thurman and they do a promo for the fight. So I put, I'm like, "Hey, honey, who's that?" And she goes, "Keith Thurman is a chicken. Keith Thurman is a chicken." And I just finally felt like I've done my job as a father. Like, I feel like if I left her, do a good job at least my daughter. She knows that Keith Thurman.
Oh man,
Gary, it's sad, man. Are you running around the house?
His entire call, all we've heard is "Thurman is a chicken." Thurman is a chicken. Sporadically through the end of the show.
I don't know. I just got a new service on my phone. I guess is this good? Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay.
We hear you. Keith Thurman is a chicken. We get it.
Okay. The other thing I wanted to ask is, what if Keith Thurman loses? Have we thought that out yet?
No.
The possibility that Keith Thurman...
No, because it's not probable.
It's not probable. But he's fighting a rugged guy. He hasn't been in the ring in 2 years. Who knows where his motivation and his heart is. Right? Like, if anything, Josesito Lopez is a fighter's fighter. He's going to make it. He knocked out Victor, right? He stopped Victor Ortiz. I'm not comparing Thurman to Victor Ortiz. I'm not. I'm just saying, the guy's going to go down swinging is all I'm saying. It's going to be a fight. Have we considered the fact that Keith Thurman loses?
No, because I don't think it has happened. If it were to happen, Gary, you'd be the happiest man alive. I guarantee you that.
Oh my God, I'm going to miss that show.
I might miss that show.
There is no show.
Everyone, okay, so as far as predictions, no one's picking any upsets this weekend?
No.
Everyone's going with all the A-sides? Is that...
No, but if there was an upset to pick, Jared Washington's the upset to pick.
I can see that, because I don't think either one of those guys are very good.
Mm-hmm.
If you want the upset on Lopez beating Thurman, he's 14-1.
There you go, 13-1. That's almost worth taking. $100 wins you $1,300.
Go for it, Gary. Do it. Do it.
It's 25-1 that he wins by KO, and it's 25-1 that he wins by decision.
Do it. Do it, Gary.
It's almost like worth it, right? Like if you bet on the football to win the MVP of the Super Bowl, it pays like 1,000-1. It's almost worth it to make that bet to see where it goes. 25-1 and he wins by a knockout, huh? If I bet $4 on it, I win 100. That's like almost worth it because you never know what.
Oh, that's worth it. That's worth it. Yeah. 100%. Like I don't know if you can. I don't know if like betting sites would allow you just to have a $4 bet. But that would be funny. Maybe just do like a $20 bet. Fuck it. Who cares about that?
20 would win you. I'm not a math major. Math is hard, but I can't even do the math on that. It'd be a lot of money.
Yes, it would be.
It'd be 25 times 20.
It'd be like 400.
thought it would be more than that. Okay.
I don't know.
Well,
I'm
anyways,
not a math major either. That was just a guess, man. Don't quote me on that.
You should put a parlay and have Gerald Washington at 5-1 as well.
I definitely don't do my own taxes.
All right. The zone card, the Mangia card. This
Yes.
whole thing is going to be streamed, right? Like all the fights are going to be.
Yeah.
All 9 fights are going to be.
Yeah.
All right. So there's a kid I want to give a shout out to. His name is Alex Rincon. He's from Dallas. He's a 6'3" junior middleweight.
Yes.
You guys got to check him out.
Yes, he is good.
The card is for 10. Okay, you know him? How do you know him?
People have talked about him a lot.
Okay.
Him along with who's that 6'6" junior middleweight guy? Fuck, what's his name? Those guys get talked about a lot. Yeah, there's a 6'6" like junior middleweight. I think he's with Golden Boy too. To be honest, I could be wrong. But they're both sort of touted as like the big tall giants of the division. But Alex, his brother's fighting on the card as well. I forget his name.
George Rincon, yeah.
Yeah.
And there's also from Texas, but he's not a brother. It's just the same last name. And then Virgil Ortiz. I want to Ortiz. He's fighting Jose Valdez-Darion. Do you know who that is?
No, the name
does.
does.
Before on Friday Night Fights and stuff, on Golden Boy Live and stuff. He was he's a 126 pounder. He fought Lamont Roach.
Okay.
He fought, so why is he fighting a 140 pounder? He fought Jose Rojas. He starts.
Gary, you're cutting out a little bit, but to answer your question, Gary, why this is happening, I would probably chalk it up to probably late notice. Virgil Ortiz was supposed to fight on which card, Rob? The Canelo card. The Canelo card.
Mm-hmm.
That's only about 4 weeks ago. You have to sort of put that in perspective. So this is kind of a quick turnaround to get back into a fight, get back on a card. I bet finding an opponent on that short notice was a little bit difficult, and that's why we have a guy that's now moved up 2 weight classes, 3 weight classes. That's probably what I'm chalking up to.
Because wasn't it some eye injury for both or one of them, or
some sort of a retina injury or something like that, or surgery.
The other thing I wanted to talk to you about is when do you think, after this fight, do you think Keith Thurman will be back in the ring?
Summertime.
So July, hypothetically?
Yeah, August maybe. Maybe September. Maybe early fall, late summer.
After the elbow surgery.
After the elbow. That was if Errol Spence knocks out Mikey Garcia in like 3 rounds and absolutely punishes him and destroys him.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think Keith Thurman will get another injury?
No.
Okay.
He's just going to fight Porter.
What if Ugas knocks out Porter? Do you think he'll get another injury? For sure he'd get another injury.
No, come on. Yo, Gary, where's this love of Ugas at and thinking that Ugas is the guy that can knock out Shawn Porter? You got to stop with that, Gary. You got to watch some more Ugas fights, fam.
This is more Thurman is a chicken shit.
I've watched every Ugas fight except because there's only been like 4 or 5 of them. I think Ugas wins the fight. That definitely wins the fight, but I think Ugas can beat Shawn Porter.
Wait, hold on. Are you picking Ugas? Are you picking Ugas?
I mean, we got a while. The fight's like a month and a half away, right?
It sounds like you're picking him.
Right now, unless something changes, right? Unless they get to a weigh-in and it looks like David Lemieux versus Spike O'Sullivan, and they look 50 pounds fewer. Yeah, I'm picking. Ugas, not by knockout, by points.
Gary, man, I got beat what you're on right now. Fuck.
I see he's at Free Fights TV's house by the sounds of it.
You don't think Ugas is any good?
Yeah, I don't think Ugas beats anyone at the top.
Okay, I think he's competitive with everyone. I don't think. Yeah, I think Yeah, I think he's really good. He's switch hits. He's got good speed. He's got decent power. He's got a good body attack. I mean, I don't. What do you think? How do you think he does against Danny Garcia?
Danny beats him, without a doubt. Without a doubt. Thomas Delorme arguably beat Ugas, for God's sake, fam. Come on.
I think Gary's overhyping him, and I think you're undervaluing him.
I am definitely undervaluing him, and Gary's definitely overhyping him. I would definitely agree with that. He is somewhere in the middle. That is absolutely true. He's definitely a top 10 welterweight. Don't get me wrong. But I don't think he is the type of guy to then beat everyone at the top. I just don't think it. And being competitive, okay, he might be competitive in rounds with a Shawn Porter or Danny Garcia, but in no version of the universe do I foresee Ugas, do I pick Ugas to beat either one of those guys, let alone the other guys at the top. I think Jeff Horn beats Ugas. I think Lamont Peterson could beat Ugas.
That's not. I like Peterson. He's completely done.
Damn, Gary, you gotta go to the other room or something. Go outside. Go on your roof.
Whoa! I don't know where this is going, Matt. What are you going to tell him to
do? Don't jump, though. Don't jump, though.
Jesus.
Sorry about that.
It's okay. This is better.
Find a bridge.
Okay. Lamont Peterson is totally washed. I was a Peterson fan, right? But he can't be any. He'll lose to Lipinets. Who do you think wins that fight?
Right now, Lamont Peterson versus Sergey Lipinets?
Yeah.
Lamont Peterson.
Okay. I think Peterson is. I'm not a Peterson hater. I just think he's through. I think that last beating he got from Spence kind of put the nail in his coffin. But
I think Peterson's the type of guy to not excel at the very top. He is a almost definitional top gatekeeper. I think guys like Ugas would fail that gatekeeper test.
What don't you like about Ugas, right? Because we've had this conversation before where I said I think Ugas might be able to beat these guys, and
I think Ugas.
His opponents.
My issues with Ugas is that I think his cardio is quite subpar. I think he likes to load up on single shots far too often. He doesn't really work with combinations. He doesn't really work behind the jab as much as I would like him to as well. He often is squared up with his opponents, which I think at the very top against guys like Shawn Porter, Danny Garcia, I think he would be a very hittable target for those type of guys, let alone Earl Spence, Terrence Crawford, Keith Thurman. I think he has a lot of power, and he occasionally lands really good shots. And that's about it. I don't rate him. I think he is a very poor version of a Jared Hurd. Do we lose Gary?
Sounds that way.
Oh, R.I.P. Gary. R.I.P. We're going to wait a bit and see if he tries to come back. But otherwise, we're going to try to head over hopefully soon, because I do have some other work I have to do for Shirdo.com. Again, head over there to check all of the Bellator, Fedor Emelianenko versus Ryan Bader content, because I have been on tab for them working with Anthony Walker, good friend of the show.
Did you get to see that? He used to be on the wrestling, right? The WWE or whatever it is.
Yeah, Jack. His real name is like Jack Hager or something like that, but they call him like Jack Swagger or something like that. And
I recognize it.
I have no idea who the guy is. He has good style. I will give him that. I can definitely see why he had the name Swagger in pro wrestling.
Speaking of style and swagger, did you bump into Gareth A. Davis?
Yeah, I did. Gareth is always nice, man. You know him. He did have it wasn't today, it was yesterday at the media day / press conference. It wasn't a press conference, it was a media day. He had checkered slip-on Vans. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
And he had like pinstripe pants. So he had stripes with the checkered shoes. It was a weird combo, man. But shout out to Garrett Davis, man. What a legend.
Icon.
icon. And Anthony and him like talk a lot, so they were being all chummy, and I was being the awkward third wheel. Gary in Dallas. Oh, and he just dropped off again. Gary, looks like you're having some trouble. I do apologize, but we're gonna have to head out of here.
I was just going to say, his boy Virgil Ortiz was interviewed by Akon Barak on DAZN, little clip, and they said about the Maurice Hooker fight. He said that's definitely one we can do in Dallas. We're both from Dallas. That'd be a great fight. I'd really want that fight.
Okay, Gary. Gary's back. We're gonna try Gary very quickly. If it's not working, we're gonna leave. Gary.
Getting that mad.
Yeah, is that better?
Yes.
All right. Ugas at 147, not at 140, at 147. Who has a better resume, Ugas or Danny Garcia?
Danny Garcia.
There's no way. Because why? Because he beat a 50-year-old Paulie Malignaggi and Robert Guerrero? There's no way he's got a better resume than Ugas at 47.
Okay. Then tell me who Ugas beat that's better than Robert Guerrero or Paulie Malignaggi at 147. Thomas Delorme?
You got to remember that Thomas Delorme.
So Thomas Delorme is better than
Ray Robinson.
Former champions. Ray Robinson, a prospect, is better than former champions.
You got to look at that version of the version of who he fought. Right?
But he fought nobodies. Like Ray Robinson's a nobody. What do you mean Ray Robinson? Like that's some name to beat? Who cares about Ray Robinson?
Why is that a nobody?
Why is he somebody? Why is he somebody? Why is he somebody? Because a telecast told you he was? Who has he beat?
HBO. I don't know. He's on Showtime, right?
Yeah, he found Showtime. Like who has he beat?
He had a couple. He had a couple of wins
against who? Breidis Prescott. Okay. So you think a prospect that beat Breidis Prescott is a better win than Robert Guerrero, who beat guys like Andre Berto and others?
It's the point on which they fought them. He didn't fight the Robert Guerrero.
And Ugas fought Ray Robinson when Ray Robinson's nobody. Thomas Delorme is a perennial top 20 guy. Never been elite. Never been a champion.
So, okay, what Guerrero? I'll give you Guerrero as the best name, but after that, all of the best names are Ugas. Like everyone that Ugas beat is better than the rest of the guys. Brandon Rios, Samuel Vargas. Those guys are no good. Mauricio Herrera and Lamont Peterson arguably beat Danny Garcia. Even though I scored Garcia over Peterson, and that was at a catch weight. So, Garcia, I think Garcia was a really good 140-pounder. But just like Paulie and just like Zab Judah and just like Ricky Hatton, he should have stayed at 140.
And unfortunately, you know what? Danny Garcia at least has done something. He's beaten champions, been a unified champion, been a champion. Ugas, never been a champion, never been unified, never beaten a champion, never beaten a former champion. And you're comparing them?
He's never
really?
Beaten a former Delorme's never held a belt?
I don't think so.
Delorme's never had
I don't think so.
I don't know.
But, I mean, if Delorme is some great guy, you would know, wouldn't he? Wouldn't you? If he's some great champion, some great opponent, you would know who he beat to get a belt.
I'm forgetting about the best name on Ugas' resume. Jamal James is what put him back in the
spotlight. Stop.
Jamal James is no good.
I didn't say he's no good, but you're comparing him to champions. Okay. You're comparing him to former champions, people that have had a belt, that have hit the very top of the sport. And you're comparing that to prospects, beating prospects.
Okay.
What? Come on.
Tim Bradley, hang on. Is Tim Bradley a good fighter?
Of course.
Okay. How did Tim Bradley do with Diego Chavez?
How did he do against Diego Chavez? I thought he won, but I believe it ended in DQ, I want to say.
It was a draw. The Brandon Rios fight was a draw. It was a DQ.
Sorry.
The Tim Bradley fight was a draw.
You mean the Diego Chavez fight was a draw?
Chavez versus Rios was a draw. Chavez fought Bradley. Chavez fought Rios in a DQ.
Mm-hmm.
Rios was beating Rios. Okay, and then when Chavez fought Bradley. They fought to a draw. How did Jamal James do with Diego Chavez?
And Gary, you know what,
two?
Gary? I'm gonna switch up and use the same argument you just used. At what time did he beat Diego Chavez? At what layoff did Diego Chavez have?
So it doesn't matter. Okay, so that only matters when it's not Danny Garcia, because Danny Garcia can beat 40-year-old Paul Melinazzi, who just got run over by a train that is Shawn Porter.
You know why? You know why it matters more? You know why? Or I should say, it doesn't matter as much, because at least Paulie and Robert Guerrero are former champions, unified champions, multiple weight champions. Hey, Gary, let me finish. Diego Chavez, never been a champion. Next topic, please. Or do you have another bad point to bring up?
I was gonna say Amir Imam too. That was, I guess.
You're gonna bring up Amir Imam? Don't. Just don't.
No,
just don't.
No, because he lost to Amir Imam. That's right. That was at 40, I think. Brian Perella, no good.
So I didn't hear that. You kind of not broke up, but I didn't really hear you.
Brian Perella, he's no good.
Fam, Gary, are really?
Thurman's a chicken.
Wait a second, because when Colazo beat Perella, you said that Perella was a decent fighter.
Yes, a decent fighter. But I'm not saying. Did I say he is better than Robert Guerrero? Did I say he's better than Paulie Malignaggi? Did I say that win means more than those wins for Danny Garcia? No, I never said that.
Is Jesse Vargas a good fighter? Because Delorme fought Jesse Vargas to a draw. So Delorme is arguably as good as Jesse Vargas.
Yes, but Danny Garcia beats Jesse Vargas 10 times out of 10.
I don't know about that.
Stop, fam. Jesse Vargas can be the top 10th ranked welterweight and still lose to Danny Garcia. Gary, you have to understand here, and you know this. You're a smart guy. I can say Jesse Vargas isn't a Robert Guerrero or Paulie Malignaggi in terms of legacy in terms of what they've done, in terms of what it means to beat those respective people. And that doesn't mean Jesse Vargas is a bum. That doesn't mean Jesse Vargas isn't top 10 or top 15. You know that. You're smart enough.
No, I just think you're drastically underestimating Jesse Vargas.
No, he's in the top 10, but he's not beating Danny Garcia.
Okay, then I would probably lean towards Garcia. Like if you said who would you pick, I pick Garcia. But to say that there's no way Jesse Vargas beats Danny Garcia, I think Vargas is pretty good. I think he would have. Yeah, I would say it's like a 65-35 fight. Like I would give Vargas about a 35% chance.
Vargas's entire legacy is built off of one round against Tim Bradley, built off Saddam Ali, and 2 draws with Adrian Broner and Thomas Delorme. Yeah, that guy is not being the guy that beat Lucas Matisse. He's just not.
At 140. Like
it doesn't matter.
I agree,
it's still the same guy. Jesse Vargas is a 140-pounder. Come on, Gary. Don't play dumb here.
Rob, was Ricky Hatton the same guy at 140 that beat Costazil, that stopped Costazil that he was at 147 when he got a bogus decision of Luis Colazo? Was that the same guy?
No, I think he was better at 140, but...
That's what I'm saying about Garcia. I'm not saying
and guess what, Gary, again, you're comparing it to another 140-pounder that moved up. You don't think Jesse Vargas was better at 140? Gary, you don't think Jesse Vargas was better at 140? Really?
I think he's good at 147, bro.
What do you mean? What has he done at 147? He has draws against Adrian fucking Broner. He had a draw with Adrian Broner, fam. Adrian Bum Broner. He drew with him. Come on, fam. And you think he's elite? You think he beats Danny? Stop. Criminal what you're saying. The audacity.
I would pick. I don't see Danny as a great welterweight. I saw him as a 40-pounder. I don't think he's got
Dan
special. I think he's
Gary. You are smart enough to realize or should understand that me saying Danny beats Jesse Vargas 10 times out of 10 does not mean that I think Danny Garcia is the #1 guy at welterweight. Those two things are
Eddie
mutually
Hearn's at a 10.
exclusive.
It means that you're drastically better than a guy you think is a top 10 pretty good welterweight. So you're
I'll put this.
drastically better
Yeah.
than that guy.
Gary, you think Earl Spence is drastically better than Danny Garcia? And they're separated by what? 2 or 3 ranking positions?
I don't rank Danny Garcia nearly as high. I think Jamal James would be Danny Garcia.
Gary, we're moving on. Have a great day. I can't do this anymore. I apologize. Gary, have a great day. You go, Rob. Final thoughts. Gary, goddamn. Gary, you're lucky that I have mad love for you. God. Jamal James ahead of Danny Garcia. Get the fuck out of here. I need a drink.
You've got one.
It's water.
Oh, a drink.
Yeah. Really? Come on. You're British. You should understand that.
Yeah, of course. First of all, shout out to where has he gone? Daniel in the chat became our 1,100th subscriber. Like I said in the chat, if we had prizes, he would win one, but we haven't.
You can keep talking. It's low enough.
I like it. But yeah, Joshua news. I think we're going to find out next week, or they will know next week. Whether we find out will be another thing. Looking forward to Thurman's return. Get that on ITV4. People in the UK, we're going to get that one. So either set record or hardcore. Do that late night and
hit
catch
record.
up.
Hit record.
Yeah, probably.
It's Thurman Lopez. Like it's not like it's not Thurman versus Porter.
You're going to be at Bellator anyway, right?
Yeah, but like I said, I only know 2.5 fights on the card, maybe 3.
Yeah, but you're going to be there. Yeah, so I'm just saying, as far as maybe live fight chat.
No sort of live fight chat, nothing like that tomorrow for listeners. Yeah.
No, that's fine. So like I say, share the show, hit the thumbs up. Catch us on patreon.com/Mixed Combat Radio. We some extra podcasts there. I guess me and Matt will try and do another boxing banter episode 4. I think we'll get to. That'll be number 4. So go check that out. Little as $1 a month, or even more if you want to, just to support the show. It's Patreon members that help. Matt get equipment and stuff like that. And
just like, for example, why you have this new camera angle is because I lost my tripod at the weigh-in today, so I'm gonna have to go buy a new tripod for the show and for obviously all my camera work. That comes from Patreon. Thank you, Patrons, because that's an emergency pay I did not have money for, but thank you to Patreon. Patreon.com/Mixed Combat Radio.
Yeah, so just thanks everyone's support. Tell people we're here. We're trying to grow the channel. And we'll be bringing you all the news and coverage we can. And the more we grow, the more events we can get to, the more content we can bring you. So shout out to everybody in the chat as always. It's always good fun in there. And we'll catch you on the next one.
And I am Matt, the Hipster Hunter. You can find me at Matt Hunter, MCR, all platforms. Final thoughts. Fights this weekend, tons of them. Make sure you guys watch them, TV or TiVo them, DVR them, whatever you guys do. Make sure you guys tune in. Be back Sunday. I have not decided whether that's going to be a boxing banter or a free show or both, but we will have content on Sunday in some form. So make sure you guys stay tuned and stay updated via our IG or Twitter, MCR Podcasts. Via Instagram, Twitter, MCR Radio Show to stay up to date on all show information. Have a great day. Hit the like button, share the show on the way out, and stay frosty. Peace.
Are you off your tits? Have you been smoking something?